You got to be aware of the inbounder here if you're Philly.
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger?
What is up, Raptors fans? This is the Raptors Den, coming today with a special edition episode of some of the rumors that have been swirling around out there in NBA land, and that is the Ben Simmons saga. Today, we are going to break down everything that is Ben Simmons in terms of his progression, why he's not a fit, why he could be a fit here in Raptorland. But before we go any further, please do not forget to smash that like button. I want to hear some comments coming in. Should we pick this guy up? Should we let him just go into the pasture and off into the wasteland? And ultimately, we want you subscribing to Offside and Out of Bounds. So please hit that subscribe button and join us on our journey here with the Raptors Den. Let's get started. If the offseason couldn't get any weirder after Raptor fans were either hoping or hating the idea of moving Ben Simmons for basically an entire NBA roster. Now, a new report has surfaced that Ben has informed the 76ers that he has no interest in being there and will not report to camp. Shocker. With how the offseason has gone for Ben up to this point, I'm surprised it took him this long to get that out of the bag. First, Philly fans were pretty much burning the city down and calling for his head. Then Daryl Morey tried to trade Ben before the draft for an entire roster from either the Raptors or the Golden State Warriors. Everyone had some laughs, and then it got quiet. Just like I like it. To think of the potential of a deal like that getting done was worrisome as a Raptors fan. It's happened before. With a bad season behind us, finally out of Tampa, a great draft in Summer League, I was waiting for the other shoe to fall. Perhaps a misstep from management. But here we are again with a flurry of reports and videos and interviews about how Ben Simmons should go to Toronto, or how Ben Simmons is the best fit for the Raptors. Sacramento was the other city along with Minnesota that they spoke of. Philly wanted De'Aaron Fox and or Tyrese Halliburton plus. Sacramento obviously smartly refused to add either of those players into any trade negotiations. The narrative is ridiculous. Why does everyone point to Toronto every time a disgruntled NBA player wants out? Is it because they've had enough and they're just so tired and they've lowered their standards to play in another country? Nah, they tweaking. So is the 76ers' value on Ben too high? Or are they in just absolute panic mode, just shooting for the stars, hoping that someone's going to fall into their trap? The first issue with Ben Simmons is his cap hit. Ben's cap hit in 2021-22 is $33,003,936, and that grows to over $37 million in 23-24. That is big money for a player that the city doesn't want, the team doesn't want, the players don't want. You get my drift here? Joel Embiid was forced by management to squash rumors that there was no rift between him and Simmons, hopefully downplaying any attitude issues that Simmons has. Now, let's take a look at Ben's career growth. In 16-17, he had a foot injury, didn't play. In 17-18, he averaged 15.8, 8.1 rebounds, 8.2 assists, and 1.7 steals. In 18-19, points went up to 16.9, rebounds up to 8.8, assists down to 7.2, steals down to 1.4. In 19-20, points down to 16.4, rebounds down to 7.8, assists back up to 8, and increase of steals to 2.1. Now in 2021, points down to 14.3, rebounds down to 7.2, assists down to 6.9, and steals down to 1.6. Now, if you were to break down the points, rebounds, assists, there are normal fluctuations. What doesn't match is the salary. For the numbers he's putting up, he can be compared to several other players. Now, during their career outside of the assists and rebounds, Kyle Kuzma and Ben Simmons, yes, Kyle Kuzma and Ben Simmons have scored around the same amount of points. The rebound numbers are close, and they have played pretty much the same amount of games. Kyle Kuzma's salary, $13 million. Another one you can compare him to is Lonzo Ball. Obviously, Ben was a bit of a focal point of an offense where Lonzo wasn't, but the rebounds, assists, steals, blocks per game are very similar, and the points Lonzo averages 14.6, where Ben averages 16.9. Lonzo Ball's new salary in Chicago, Malcolm Brogdon's got a higher point per game average. The rebounds favor Ben, assists are similar, steals and blocks are close as well. Malcolm Brogdon's salary, $21.7 million. Now, the main difference between Ben and these three players is that all of these three players have better three-point percentage and better free throw percentage. Now, obviously, we can go through the entire NBA and we can break this down and show you how, everyone's numbers are similar to him and he's making $20 million more than them. At the end of the day, this was a bad contract that Philly put out, and they're starting to see that, and they're trying to reap the rewards by getting a haul for him in return. Now, let's put the shoe on the other foot. Now, let's look at some players who have similar salaries and compare them. Devin Booker averages 25.6 points, 4.2 rebounds, 4.3 assists, and 0.8 steals, being a number one option on a team. Booker's salary, $31.6 million. Pascal Siakam, we all know about Pascal, averaged 21.4, 7.2 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 1.1 steals, being the number one option on a team. And that's a bad year for Pascal. Pascal's salary, $33 million. Bradley Beal. Beal averages 31.3, 4.7 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and 1.2 steals while playing with Russell Westbrook. Beal's salary, $33,724,000. Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving averaged 26.9 points, 4.8 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1.4 steals while playing with James Harden and Kevin Durant. Kyrie's salary, $35,328,700. Now, in this day and age of player development, there is no reason a guard should be shooting free throw percentages as low as Ben. Perhaps there is an issue with the 76ers player development in terms of not getting the mechanics fixed, or more likely, Ben just doesn't want to put in the work. This is also a player that LeBron has taken under his wing and taken a shining to and mentored. Either LeBron has washed his hands of Ben, or he has given him all the advice that he can. Everyone on the inside of the NBA circle sees the potential that Ben Simmons has, and players and ex-teammates speak highly of his ability to create shots for other players and his high level of court vision. There have also been stories of how Ben doesn't put in the work that is needed to elevate his game, and he's naturally talented but just wants to rely on his talent and doesn't want to put in the work. After an atrocious playoff where he scored 69 points in a total of 7 games, made many mistakes, couldn't hit a free throw, that might be an LSU thing, so we should probably talk to Shaq about that. This city, the city of Philadelphia, of brotherly love, was incensed with getting rid of a 24-year-old point guard that won Rookie of the Year and was all defense twice in his short career. The criticism poured in, and the clip of Embiid losing his mind after Simmons' miscue is replayed over and over. Is Embiid wrong for displaying that type of reaction and stare down of a teammate in a playoff game? Well, let's just say that is Joel Embiid. So what is the real issue here? Is it the style of offense that Philly runs, making it difficult for Embiid and Simmons to coexist? Or is the relationship between Simmons and Embiid just the issue at the forefront? If Ben knew he was off or having a bad playoff, that is the type of stuff that can get in your head and kill you. That is most likely the major reason why he was passing up shots, missing free throws at such a high rate. Perhaps the solution is to get him out of there, get him a fresh start, and get him to fix some of the mechanics. So, where should Ben go? Unless a team decides to change Ben's position, there are not a lot of teams that can take on a $33 million point guard, especially considering they already have a point guard doing what they require. Now, Ben has decent stats. Obviously, for a $33 million player, you'd like to see more point production, but I think it has a lot to do with the fact that Embiid is very demanding of the ball. So let's take a look at a few teams that could actually use a point guard of his caliber and maybe have the cap space to make it happen. However, they may not have the talent that Philly is looking for unless they understand that they are behind the 8 ball right now and might not get the value in return for Ben to the standards of what they were hoping. Now, Dallas could definitely use Ben's facilitation skills. That's going to take a lot of heat off Luka and let him do his thing. However, don't think that Dallas can put together a package attractive enough for Philly to get that done. San Antonio is in desperate need of talent right now, and I think Pop could break Ben down, build him back up, teach him how the game is supposed to be played, and fix some of the mechanical issues that he has. However, the cupboard's a bit bare in San Antonio. Don't think they have enough to get this done. At the end of the day, the one thing that we have to remember here is that no team is going to jettison their young talent in a trade and give up a lot in terms to satisfy the salary swap for Ben Simmons, who, at this point, is a 24-year-old, $33 million point guard that is a project player. So, should the Raptors do something? If they can get Simmons on the cheap, if it's on the cheap, I would be inclined to say that I'm very high on our player development and think that we could fix his issues. But what are we talking about losing in order to get him? Now, here's a package I would offer: Goran Dragic, Chris Boucher, and picks. Now, salary doesn't match. We're still a little bit short on that. So that's something that might not work. The other option is Pascal straight up. But Masai has also come out and stated that he isn't shopping Pascal. Now, obviously, we can look back at the DeRozan debacle that happened where he was not being moved and then ended up getting moved. I don't think Masai is in the place mindset to make the same mistake twice. But if this team is truly looking to become positionless, there's one person who doesn't fit that philosophy because he's not able to guard all positions. And hear me out, Raptor fans. His name is Fred VanVleet. Now, if that is the case and you are looking at getting positionless, you could look at a package like this. You take Fred and his $21.5 million salary, and you take Goran Dragic and his $19 million salary. You send that to Philly for Ben Simmons and his $33 million salary, Tyrese Maxey and his $2.7 million salary, and obviously some picks would have to come back in exchange for that. Now, obviously, that's not a package that's going to be accepted, but it's tough to put Fred or even Gary Trent Jr. into any trade scenarios. Fred just got his chance to drive this team full-time, and he's definitely going to help Malachi's progression. And Gary Trent Jr. has shown flashes of brilliance, so maybe it's not time to pull these triggers just yet. At the end of the day, a new page was turned in the history books of the Raptors this year, and it's a time we let things play out. We've got the guys we want right now. We got to let them develop. We've got to just follow the plan that Masai has. Who knows? At the end of the season, we could sit back and say, you know what? We should have pulled the trigger and landed Ben Simmons. But the risk and the required development work that Ben needs, it may just not be the right fit here. If Philly came down on their asking price and there were some late picks or several pieces of low salary and the team pretty much remained intact, then I might be obligated to listen more intently. But until that happens, I'm letting Daryl Morey's calls go to voicemail. And thank you very much for joining us here on the Raptors Den special Ben Simmons edition. Before you go, please do not forget to smash the like button. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about what we just presented or who you'd like to see us highlight next. And of course, we would love you to hit that subscribe button on Offside and Out of Bounds and join us on our journey. Thanks very much, and we'll see you real soon.